Hello, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Red Chairs, where we get to know someone on the Lynchburg College campus a little better. I'm your host, Dr. Jimmy Rue, and our guest today is Dr. Mike Robinson,
Hey.
affectionately known as Dr. Mike by student and faculty alike. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do on campus?
What do I do on campus? I am a professor of communication studies, which means I have the great privilege and joy of teaching a whole bunch of classes that I really, really like. It's fantastic. I do media and culture, which is sort of like an intro to the history of media, where we cover a bunch of different topics and learn some cultural theories. I do media criticism, where we get to look at a lot of media texts and take them apart using various theories. I teach the film class, which I have just loved just about every semester I've been here. And we do different themes, heroes and superheroes or horror and things like that. It's an intro class, so we learn aesthetics and theory. And we do some other fun things here and there, various different things for Westover and special topics and stuff like that.
Sounds like you enjoy your job.
I love my job. I
That's
love
great.
my job. I can't believe I get paid to do this.
You're also known as the superhero representative
Yeah.
on campus.
Well, that's my thing. I'm a
And
nerd.
You've been known to maybe promote maybe Superman's birthday on campus, or
Oh, sure, yeah, definitely. Well, you know, I went to Bowling Green like you went to Bowling Green. We went to Bowling Green together. We
Falcons.
just never saw each other. Yeah, we had what, about 7 or 8 people in common. But Jimmy, you believe we met, but I don't think we did. We were always talking about that. I don't think we did. But we went to Bowling Green, and Bowling Green was big on popular culture. And one of the things that they taught you there was they said, you know, you really want to have an outreach beyond just the classroom. And so I like to try to do a lot of different things. You know, I write the column for the Critograph. I write the Nerd Factor. My wife is the co-host and co-producer of Living the Heart of Virginia, so do a lot of interviews for her. I'll do stuff for the local news whenever possible. I lucked out one time and got in a Britney Spears biography. It's you know, it's taking that kind of academic idea and getting it out there to a general public. So yeah, I like to talk about the superhero stuff. I like to talk about everything.
So I've got a question. Why is it important to understand superheroes?
Well, right now it's really important because it's the big thing. When I was younger, and you liked superheroes, you were regarded as maybe a little odd, and that was being kind, right? So that sort of thing was more of a, sometimes we call it a cult market. I don't know if that's the right way to talk about it, but that kind of fandom. And so I was reading something the other day. Stephen Colbert said he was a nerd when there was a cost to being a nerd. Nowadays, all of the stuff that I loved when I was younger, you know, the superhero stuff, the sci-fi stuff, the Dungeons and Dragons, all that stuff has become mainstream. Mm-hmm. And it's important to understand that. It's important to understand superheroes because they're just big icons that represent a lot of things that are important in our culture. You know, what is a hero? What does a hero do? How do we think about that? What does it mean? You know, Spider-Man, what does it mean to have great power and great responsibility? That sort of stuff. Plus, it's a $1 billion film industry. It's a multi-million-dollar comic book industry. It's a multi-million-dollar television industry. It's everywhere right now. So to kind of understand what is going on in our culture, you really sort of have to have a sense of superheroes.
So it's representative of culture and themes in ordinary life.
Exactly. We talk about popular culture. Some people think of popular culture as a mirror. We can look at the mirror and see our own cultural reflection. I don't think that's completely true. It's more like a funhouse mirror. You know, when we look in the mirror, sometimes we see different distortions, you know, and people's different ideas of how culture ought to be. And superheroes represent a big important part of that right now.
We obviously love the superhero and a lot of things about media.
Oh, totally.
So how about we play one question of Would You Rather?
Would I rather? Okay. Would I rather? What would I rather
Would
do?
you rather never see another episode of Doctor Who, or would you rather never read another comic book?
That's cruel. What a terrible choice.
We have to make the questions.
Oh man, that's harsh. So it's like, would I rather? Well, my favorite thing and my other favorite thing. Wow.
I think we've stumped.
We have. Yeah, that's right. Just pause. Just hit pause now.
Okay, we'll go back to that question?
No. I'll get this right. No, I'll figure this out. Gosh, I think as much as I love Doctor Who, I could not give up comic books. Comic books are they're both addictions, but but the comic books is a much greater addiction. So I could at least say, well, there's been there's been 50 years of Doctor Who, so maybe I'd be all right with that. But I couldn't give up. I couldn't give up knowing what was going to happen to the Avengers next month. That would be terrible.
Well, who would be your favorite superhero?
Oh, I got to pick one. Oh, wow.
Favorite, all-time one.
All-time favorite. Well, right now, it certainly seems to be Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is one of the most important fictional creations of the 20th century. I think you can stack him up against a bunch of other characters. He's what everybody else tries to be. That idea of great power and great responsibility, that notion of this reluctant hero who's, struggling in his personal life or struggling in his heroic career, is the archetype for everything else. So yeah, I think Spider-Man is my favorite, but honestly, whatever I'm reading at the moment is my favorite. I don't like to pick a favorite thing. I like to have like 10 or 20 or 30 favorite things.
Well, would you have a favorite superhero quality? If you could have a quality.
Well, if I got a superpower, you mean like superpower?
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's
superpower.
easy. Super speed. I've already
Super
thought this
speed.
out. I put a lot of time into this. Super speed is the superpower to have because you get everything done faster, right? Like I could have gotten up today, 10 minutes before work, gotten together, run in, boom, been done. Super speed is awesome.
Okay, so what if you could have a super sex superpower?
A super sex? What does that mean?
A sex superpower. You know how heroes have superpowers?
You mean like...
Would you want super speed and that?
No, well, no, of course not. No, nobody would want that. But
What super sex superpower would you like?
I don't know. I haven't thought of it in that regard. That's terrible.
That's probably good.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Boy, it sure would be interesting to read somebody's mind. To know what they wanted and what every relationship is great. You communicate in every relationship, but that's the trick to any human interaction. If you could only know exactly what somebody wanted, but of course, comic books teach us that telepathy is a terrifying thing, and when you find out what people want, you're always sort of frustrated and upset. So I guess that's the one I would have to pick.
What was your favorite toy as a kid?
As a kid, my all-time favorite toy. Holy cow! Well, I was a spoiled only child. I had a lot of toys. My Christmas was huge.
Oh, wow.
My Christmas stretched across the room. A friend of mine years ago saw a picture of my Christmas, and he was like, "My God, it just goes from one frame to the other frame." And I got tons of toys, and I dragged them all with me. I loved my Star Wars figures. I loved them. I had those Star Wars figures out. I played New Adventures, and it was fantastic. Every day down there, Luke and crew sort of running around doing things. It was kind of off balance because my parents couldn't be convinced. They were convinced to buy a lot of things, but they couldn't be convinced to buy extra stormtroopers. So it was kind of like Darth Vader and some guys against this giant mob of heroes.
But you always need more stormtroopers.
You do, and eventually, towards the end, they saw the light, and I was up to like 3 or 4 stormtroopers. But yeah, I couldn't convince them that I needed like 10, 15 stormtroopers. They just didn't. Yeah, but they fully supported that habit. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I never had enough stormtroopers.
Do you still have those
Yes.
toys?
Mm-hmm.
Are you collectible of like Star Wars paraphernalia?
Not a whole much. Not too much anymore. I kind of went through this phase where when I was in grad school, me and my friends would run around buying superhero action figures a lot because it was something I could afford. You remember grad school? It was like poverty for like 8 or 9 or 10 years, and it was something I could afford. It was something I could do, but I ended up buying too many of the things. When it came time to move out here in 2000, I think it took me 2 days. I made the mistake of taking a lot of them out of the package. It took me 2 days to put them back where they belong, get them dusted up, get them put away. Most of them haven't seen the light of day since then. So I don't spend too much on stuff like that. Mostly my boy gets that sort of stuff, and I just play with what he's got. But I've got my old Star Wars figures. I know where they are. They're in a protected secret location. So, in fact, my son got mad at me the other day because he said, "Can I play with them?" And I was like, "No, no."
Does he want more stormtroopers?
He'll get more stormtroopers. I totally understand the need for stormtroopers. He is about to. He's so funny. This weekend he wanted to watch Empire Strikes Back so bad. He can like smell Star Wars in the air. Everybody knows this Star Wars movie is coming around Christmas time, and he can smell it. And I think he's about to go totally nuts. He went through a Jurassic World phase this summer. Everything's dinosaurs, and I think we are about to explode into the world of Star Wars. And yes, of course, he will have multiple stormtroopers.
Are you concerned his collection of toys might be greater than yours and cost?
Well, wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be fantastic? That boy, his collection of toys is already greater than mine. We've actually had this Christmas we took a cruise because the whole family decided that the last thing the family needed was to buy more stuff and bring it into the house. So that kid's got tons of toys. He is. We kind of wade through them and kind of push them aside to make way into various
Now,
locations.
who plays with his toys more, him or you?
Well, he does, but I help. Yeah.
You help?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You have to show him how to.
Yeah, right. Well,
That's right.
I get assigned roles. The actual best thing going right now is what he calls dinosaur breakfast. And so we get up, every day is dinosaur breakfast, but the best dinosaur breakfast is on Saturdays and Sundays. And I will be preparing like eggs and sausages, and he will get out dinosaurs, and you get to sit with his favorite dinosaurs. And so you come and sit down and find yourself kind of like trying to make your way around T-Rex and velociraptors and things like that. So, and my daughter has some collectible stuff too, but not quite as much. Hers is stacked and piled in various places. But.
Well, you've introduced your son and daughter. Maybe you should let us know their names and their.
Oh, their names?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Tiff is 18. Tiff is here at Lynchburg College. She's a freshman, and Parker is 7.
That's good. Would you rather a shower or a bath?
A shower or a bath? A shower. Baths are gross.
Okay.
You're floating around in the dirty water. You leave rings. That's an evidence that stuff was still on you. So yeah.
So do you sing in the shower?
Yes, I'm a fantastic shower
What
singer.
songs do you sing in the shower?
Well, what else would I sing? Britney Spears.
Britney Spears?
Other pop songs. Yeah. Oh, I'm pop crazy. So yeah, I'll sing whatever strikes. One of my favorite childhood memories is my father in the bathroom singing, and you don't think of my father as a singer if you've met my father. And he had this old, you remember the old 50s transistor radios and the leather can, and he would have one of those, and he liked country music, and whenever it was on would play, and he would sing, and Mom would sing too. Mom loves Elvis, and Mom loves Patsy Cline. So there was a lot of singing in the household. So yeah, so I sing, and I sing in the shower because the acoustics are better. Mm-hmm. My wife says I'm a good singer. I don't believe I'm a good singer.
Well, that was my next question. How would she rank you on a scale?
She
of
says
1
I'm
to 10?
great. She says I'm very good. Now I don't know. She's in love with me, so I don't know if she's completely objective. But in the shower, man, the acoustics. I will say that once in my life I sang a perfect version of Marty Robbins' El Paso. And only 2 people were there to hear it, but they heard it and they enjoyed it. So that's, you know what I mean? That's, if you can do that once in your life.
2 people were there to hear it.
2 people were there to hear that.
Okay. Were you in the shower at the
No,
time?
no, that was in an
I just wanna
office.
make sure
Make sure
I
yeah,
understand
people
the
just
context.
come through all the time. No.
You charge them.
That's right. You have to hear the singing, right? You got to make extra money somehow. No, that was in an office somewhere. But yeah, but shower acoustics are perfect for singing. They're fantastic for singing. Everybody sounds great in the shower.
That's very good. So, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
how would you rate yourself in bed?
In bed, I am security rating cleared for all things. I haven't fallen out of bed in years.
Very good. You don't need any.
No, don't
All
need any
those things,
assistance. No, nothing. No. Haven't tumbled out in a long time.
Is there anything else you'd like the audience to know about you?
Gosh, I don't know what it would be. I have a lot of fun. I'm really lucky. I have a lot of fun with what I do. I tell my students, you don't have to be me. I think some people think, oh, I got to be that big of a nerd. No, you don't have to be that big of a nerd. But what I think is really great about popular culture is you can be excited about stuff. You could be a fan. To be a fan of something, you know what I mean? It's really sad that people spend a lot of time, they walk around kind of poo-pooing and putting down things and being embarrassed by stuff they're enjoying. Go, have fun with it. There's a lot of, it's like the golden age of movies. It's the golden age of television. It's the golden age of everything. There's so much stuff out there. Go have fun with stuff. Enjoy it. So, that's the way I look at it. You can learn from it. You can have a good time with it.
That's a good lesson. One more, would you rather?
Okay. Yeah.
Would you rather a dinner date with Buffy or Brittany?
Brittany. As much as I love,
didn't
take much time at all. As much as I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, I have more questions for Brittany. There's things I have to learn from Brittany to explain to the students because we talk about Brittany and media criticism every year. So yeah, probably Brittany. As much as I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, I would definitely Brittany.
Well, Dr. Mike, thank you for coming on Between Two Red Chairs.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time. And this ends another episode of Between Two Red Chairs. We hope you join us next time. Thank you very much.